What's going on YouTube? Cloverbuilds here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today I wanted to explore the hard Trick Room archetype and where it is right now in the meta at the given moment. So I've always been asked this question, you know, throughout regulationC from some of you guys: is hard Trick Room dead? Is it still playable? Is it still viable? Can it get the job done? And the answer is it can. All right, is it as good as it was previously in other formats? The answer is no. That's because of the ruined Pokemon. So generally, like with hard Trick Room, you always want like a redirector, and you want like an abuser, and then you also want like some protection for you know, the Trick Room abusers, right? So you know, I feel like you still start with Indeedee Hatterene. Now, some of these teams, they've also had Armor Rouge, right, in previous formats, just because, you know, the Armor Rouge does a lot of things in Trick Room, especially with like expanding force pressure and armor cannon. And then if you're able to add in a Torkoal, for example, now, you know, the fire type attack does a lot of damage, right? But the problem now with Armor Rouge is, you know, you're in a format where the ruined Pokemon are dark types, and, you know, your expanding force damage doesn't really do much, right? And then from there, without the terrain, because, you know, Indeedee kind of suffers a little bit more this time around because of Ice Spinner from Qianpao and Ice Spinner from Dragonite, and sometimes you might even see Ice Spinner from a Great Tusk, for example, right? So you're taking away Armor Rouge's terrain, and now you're also taking away the fact that it can't use its best move, Expanding Force. So it kind of fell off, and because of that, you know, hard Trick Room kind of lost an important weapon with the Armor Rouge, right? So from there, it took a hit, and it really hasn't been able to get that key, you know, regional win, or even that key top cut result because of that, right? But that being said, there have been squads, you know, even without the Armor Rouge, that can still get it done, right? And I feel like you still revolve around this core of this three, right? Indeedee, Hatterene, and Torkoal, right? Because with Hatterene, at the very least, you know, especially with Life Orb, you're able to put out a lot of damage, you know, in the Trick Room. And, you know, with Dazzling Gleam, you know, a fairy coverage move, you're able to still do super effective damage into the ruined Pokemon, right? Because they're all dark types. The one thing you have to understand with like hard Trick Room is it's very linear in its playstyle, and it's, you know, somewhat easy to stall, because all you have to really do is alternate your protects, you know, terrestrialize into something to resist those attacks from the sweepers, and then finally when the Trick Room is done, then you're at a loss, right? Because you don't have anything outside of Trick Room to be able to, you know, put pressure on your opponent. Which is why, to me, the best kind of way to use Trick Room is a semi-Trick Room kind of team, where you have, yes, a Trick Room mode, but then you have a semi-Trick Room mode, right? So this way, in a best of three, you're not completely reliant on Trick Room. You know, you're not a one-trick pony, and you can still, you know, play another mode in a best of three, where, you know, you can kind of keep your opponent guessing, like, is he gonna go Trick Room? Is he not? Is he gonna use this mode? You know, you're forcing your opponent to cover more, as opposed to just saying, all right, this guy is just only using Trick Room, so I'm just gonna use this same 4 every single time because that's all he has, right? He has no other tricks up his sleeve. So that being said, if you can position properly, you can still get some key wins with the hard Trick Room. So let's take a look at some examples from, you know, the recent Hartford regionals, where we did see some hard Trick Room teams that still got some, you know, CP as a result. So obviously there wasn't any over here, you know, within the top 8 there. And if you keep going down, you know, through the 16s, you know, you don't really see it again either, right? It's just a bunch of balanced teams, some hyper offensive teams, you know, because they exert more pressure, they have more options, they're more flexible. You know, again, Joe's team is not even like a Trick Room team. It's just like, you know, Sun with hyper offense. If we keep going, here's our first one with the Indeedee Armor Rouge, right? So here's Ryan's team, but again, look at this. He has an alternate mode with Sand, right? Because Sand with Lycanroc and Tyranitar, Lycanroc is just able to outspeed the entire format anyway. All right, so then that's another mode that you can play. And then you still have Gyarados, you know, for, you know, defensive pivoting, and it's a flying type because, you know, you're able to withstand the ground types, which is something that the Sand and Armor Rouge over here don't want to deal with, because that's 3 weaknesses to ground. So that gives you a bit of an edge there. So shout outs to Ryan for this unique semi-Trick Room team. Okay, and then if we keep going down here, is there any more else that, all right, we do have but again, like this Bronzong team, even though it does have Trick Room, this is not really a hard Trick Room team, right? You still have the Iron Bundle here for support. You're relying on screens, and then here's another one from Mr. Joseph Kelly, again, the Frigraph here. But then if you just keep going, again, another one, you don't see it, right? Finally, you do see one over here from Mr. Hendez, right? This is the very classic Lily Cole stuff. But again, you see like, okay, Armarouge, Torkoal, Iron Hands, Hatterene. Like again, there's your Trick Room core, but remember, you still have the Lilligant that under Chlorophyll, again, outspeeds the entire format. So you have like 5 Trick Room mons, but then you still have this to give you an edge outside of Trick Room, because after your Eruption still hurts. So this is another way to be able to play it. I feel like this is this is as close to a hard Trick Room team that has one trick outside of it as it gets, right? So shout outs to Hendez over here for you know, using this because it's very, very classic. Okay, but then what else can you do? Like, is this the only way you can do like a hard Trick Room team? No, there's other options, right? So let's keep going here. There's a bunch of 6-3 teams, which is still good in terms of CP, but as we go down, you'll be able to find a couple more. So like, again, this is like the semi Trick Room team with Sand Mode and Dondozo. Again, this is the best way to do it. But again, if you wanted to do like hard Trick Room team, I'm going to show it to you right here. There's a couple squads here, and you'll see them a bunch in a row. So here, we'll start here. Ryan's team, Ryan P. Hebert. So NDD Hatterene, of course, there's the Armarouge again. And again, the whole advantage also with like Armarouge is, you know, big psychic damage for the Amoonguss, especially with Terra Grass. That's also really nice. Brute Bonnet I also like here, just because it can do a lot of damage, you know, especially after a photosynthesis boost, if you do have Sunny Day available on the team. The Mousehold is another redirector, you know, because you have 2 of them with Follow Me, you know, with Indeedee and Armarouge. I'm sorry, Indeedee and Mousehold. So you have 2 redirectors, 2 support mons. You have a couple sweepers here with Hatterene and Armarouge, and then technically the Brute Bonnet, and then 1 physical option, right? Well, technically 2, because you have the Brute Bonnet over there. So good job there from another Ryan, basically. And then if you look here, here's another one with Jonah. This one revolves around, again, the Indeedee Hatterene combination with still Torkoal, and then with Garganical, which is another great Trick Room mon, and then the Iron Hands with Swords Dance and Safety Goggles. This is really good because now what you're able to do is just set up with Indeedee and Iron Hands. You know, they can't click Fake Out. You click Follow Me, you set up the Swords Dance, and then from there you're just able to exert a lot of different pressure maneuvers with like Drain Punch and Wild Charge, and then like Torkoal and Hatterene just come in and kind of finish the job, right? Then if you go down here, here's Kyle. Again, you do have Amoonguss and Hatterene, right? But again, this is another team with like an alternate mode with Tailwind. You know, you do have Satitan here, which is actually a very interesting team. So shout outs there. But we'll look at a couple more. So here's one with Jonathan, with the Armarouge here, with the Dragonite Champa. Again, another half Trick Room team. Here's another one from Kyle. So Kyle here has, which is kind of like the same 5 that I'm going to show you in terms of building, but here's a Gothitelle with, you know, Tickle, okay, with Heal Pulse. That's also really, really cool. I do like Swords Dance King Gambit. That's pretty good in terms of how you want to run it. I do like Black Glasses technically, but this is also still pretty nice. All right, and then from here, was he the last one, I believe? Yeah, there was like a whole string of them, and then you just didn't see any in the moment. Yeah, but anyway, oh, here's one more. This one's Noah's team. This is almost like the Hendez team. And then you have one from Luke over here with a Chiyu here with Torkoal. So this one is basically Final Gambit Staraptor. So you can almost kind of slot this in with Annihilate Final Gambit, but you know, you do get Intimidate here. You do get Brave Bird and Tailwind. So, you know, you also have a Floodamine Chiyu on the team. So very, very creative. Again, another half Trick Room kind of team. Okay, but I digress. Yeah, this is pretty much the Hendez team with a couple of other tech options. But now what we're gonna do is, now that we presented the teams that can do well, so like, what did we get out of that? So we see we have a couple redirectors, we have a couple sweepers, and then physical sweepers that we're gonna need on this team to be able to, you know, offer some kind of physical damage instead of just relying on Hatterene and Torkoal to do the job for us. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just quickly build a very sample hard Trick Room team, so this way you have something to try out and give you a little bit of a starting point if this is something you're interested in regulationC. All right, so let's get back into the builder here. Okay, so from here, I think we need some physical offense here. So I do like the Iron Hands here, and particularly with this Iron Hands set, I think I still want to go Assault Vest here. And it's going to have the steel move of Heavy Slam, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a second, but the steel coverage on Iron Hands is very, very good because, again, if you consider Floodamines running around, you know, the Heavy Slam is going to be able to pin that slot. The other thing with Trick Room is, especially with Torkoal, you know, with so much Hatterene running around, you're actually boosting the opponent's Hatterene. I'm sorry, the Flutter main. You're actually boosting their Flutter main when you do bring out Torkoal. So you have to keep that in mind. Which is also another reason why kind of hard Trick Room teams struggle a little bit more in this format. But again, you can still get the job done if you have good positional play. Then from here, honestly, I do like the King Gambit. King Gambit gives you a lot of outs in certain matchups, especially when you have Sucker Punch and you're just able to pin a lot of different slots here, especially with a priority move. Now, granted, you do have the Indeedee to kind of stop you from doing that, but in the essence, you're still going to have Kowtow Cleave here, and then you are going to have, believe it or not, I'm going to put Sucker Punch here, over here. We're going to have Protect here because we already have the Assault Vest on the Iron Hands, but we are going to run Swords Dance here. And this is what I was saying earlier. I feel like one of these two has to get Swords Dance, right? So either you do Swords Dance Iron Hands or you do Swords Dance King Gambit. Either way, you know, one of them is going to need it and the other one will get the Assault Vest, right? But I'm just giving you like a sample here in terms of what you can do with Hard Trick Room here. So this is, you know, the 5 that you want to bring. Okay, so from here, you could do like Indeedee King Gambit leads where you can just, you know, rely on your terrain to stop Fake Out, redirect, click the Swords Dance button, and then even though there's no Trick Room up, you have +2 Sucker Punch. All right, so then you could just kill a lot of different things, especially when you have like Black Glasses and your Terra Dark. That one shots a lot of different things, believe it or not, especially if you're +2. King Gambit is strong. Okay, so don't underestimate the power of King Gambit. Okay, and then if you're able to, you know, kind of read your opponent, you can actually just click Trick Room on the Indeedee like turn 1, and then also be able to maybe even set up that Swords Dance, or maybe not even like turn 1, maybe at some point in the mid game, just be able to do that, and then you're kind of just chilling, right? Because then after that, then you can just keep going for +2 Kowtow Cleaves and just pretty much one-shot a lot of different stuff if they don't resist it. Okay, so then from here, last option, like you still want a little bit of support or redirection. Like you can definitely just slap on an Amoonguss here, just to be able to spore different things. And again, it's another backup redirector besides the Indeedee. You could even do like Organical here, like we saw from some of those other teams. Again, also does very, very well in Trick Room. And then from there, like even just like simple like Brute Bonnet, actually. Like Brute Bonnet, you know, Torkoal is actually really nice. And in fact, we'll keep it as Brute Bonnet because, you know, Bullet Seed pressure is pretty good. This is going to be like our loaded dice set. I've always wanted to try this. And then Sucker Punch again, and then Spore, like we said, and then Protect. Now, you can also like pretty much just say like, no, I need another redirector with Rage Powder. You could definitely do that. Or you can just simply put Protect here, and I feel like that's okay. So like with Brute Bonnet, again, a Grass type is really nice. Again, because think about all the ground coverage running around, like Great Tusk. Brute Bonnet can really destroy that. Then you have like stuff like Garchomp and Tinglu. The Brute Bonnet there can also do relatively well against some of those common meta threats, and because you know you can resist it. That being said, you have to watch out for the fighting coverage here, and you know just especially like King Gambit as well. But you do have a Hatterene, okay, and you do have Torkoal to be able to exert a lot of pressure and resist a lot of different hits. But you could pretty much see the idea behind Hard Trick Room team, and it's very easy to play, right? So if you just want like some quick ladder game wins, or if you just want to like not necessarily turn off your brain, but give yourself a very linear flow chart as far as like trying to make certain plays, this is the way to do it. But again, my opinion is you want a semi Trick Room team with a different mode. But I was requested to do Hard Trick Room team. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to round out the EV spreads here and some of the terrestrialized options, and we're going to keep it relatively simple here. Again, it's just a good starting point, because then from here, after watching my video, again, as always, you can take inspiration from it and then make some modifications and tweaks a little bit based on what you're finding out in your games, or some things that you like to play or prefer a little bit more than what I'd like to do. But at the very least, I can give you a starting point here. So let's go back here and let's start rounding out the movesets and the EV spreads. Okay, starting with Indeedee. Again, we just want to keep things relatively simple here with a redirection move, a Follow Me, then Helping Hand. You're just able to, especially if you can get your Torkoal in, Helping Hand Eruption is going to hurt a lot. Helping Hand Dazzling Gleam is going to hurt a lot. Helping Hand into any of these other physical attackers is going to hurt a lot. And then you do want Trick Room here. If you want to put Protect, sorry, Dazzling Gleam is what I wanted. If you wanted to put Protector, you can definitely do that, but you need at least one attacking move, right? So it's up to you, but I feel like Psychic Seeds is really good, especially if you can get the special defense boost. We are going to go with the bold nature here, so this way we get the best of both worlds. We get a nice bump in the physical defense, and then from there, you're getting also a special defense boost with the Psychic Seeds, right? I am going to go to 175 here. You know, this will optimize against sand chip damage. I am going to go bold here, go to the benchmark here. You see the EV bump here where you go from 119 to 121. So this is where your stat will increase by 2 points instead of 1. And again, if you're trying to play competitive Pokemon and you don't know what EV bumps are, I say this in every video, comment in the comment section below. Ask me what EV bumps are. I'll explain them to you because you got to know what they are if you want to take your competitive team building to the next level. All right. Then from there, you know, you don't really need anything else. You can just put 1 point in the special attack and the speed. You don't really need them, and then just dump the rest into special defense like this. You want this nice even number, just so that with the 1.5 boost that you get with the Psychic Seeds, it gives you a nice whole number. If you had something like this where it's an odd number, you know, if you multiply it by 1.5, you get a decimal, which would round your defenses down. You don't want that, right? So you want nice whole numbers, so this way you don't get that loss in point value. All right, and then from here you have a couple options. You can go Terra Fairy here just so that you can resist dark damage from stuff like, you know, Kowtow Cleave or Throat Chop from like a Roaring Moon, for example. You can definitely do that, and then from here you can also do like Terra Grass just in case you're afraid of a Mungus clicking Spore. That's another thing you can also consider, but really up to you. I don't know how many games you're going to be trashalizing your Indeedee, but sometimes you may have to do it if you want to win the game, right? So I'll leave it as Terra Grass for now, but if you like the Terra Fairy option, you know, definitely go for that. All right, Hatterene here. Again, Dazzling Gleam is your pressure move. Psychic is really good to, you know, just one-shot Amoonguses if they don't have the correct spread. Of course, you want Trick Room here, and then you can click Protect here, you know, just to bait out certain attacks if you want to protect your Hatterene and make it survive a little bit longer. All right, and then from here, Quiet Nature is really good. You know, you don't want any speed on this thing. You want to be like the fastest thing in Trick Room. All right, and then from here, I want to optimize the Life Orb damage here, so I'm still going to go max attack, max special attack here. You see how strong Hatterene is? But I'm going to go right up to here, 159. So this way I end in a 9 because I have Life Orb here, which will optimize, you know, from 15.9 to just 15 damage per turn, because remember, Life Orb is taking 1/10 of your max HP. If you go to 160 like this, now you're taking 16 damage per turn as opposed to 15. So I'm undercutting the threshold by ending in a 9. All right, see how that works? Then from there, you know, you have 44 EVs left, so you might as well just dump them into your defensive bulk here, because that's pretty much all you have left, and you're already pretty good special defense, so that's always really, really nice. Imagine you had a Maushold here instead of a Brute Bonnet, then, you know, you can really add bulk to your Hatterene over here. All right, then your Torkoal, you can just be as offensive as it gets, you know, with the Charcoal here, with Eruption. I still think you need Clear Smog, you know, just to be able to have something for the Dondozo matchup, just to be able to remove those buffs. If it's Terra Steel, that's even better if they want to, you know, dodge it, because then you have like Torkoal. Click the Eruption button. Flamethrower single target, you can definitely do that. I believe this also gets Overheat. You can also do that as well if you just want to blow something up, and then just do that. But I feel like this is pretty good if you have like Eject Back, which we saw with Joe's team or Justin and Santino's team, where they had the eject button overheat combination, where you just blow something up and then switch out into something else, especially after Trick Room gets set up. So you can definitely do that. But if you just want a clear single target move with no drawback, Flamethrower is ideal. All right, and then just Protect here. And again, you know, you're a Trick Room sweeper. You're not the supportive Torkoal with Overheat and Yawn, which I still think I like a lot. It suits my playstyle better, but the viewer wanted a more offensive Torkoal, so we're gonna go Quiet Nature, max special attack here. You don't need any speed on this thing, so of course 0 IVs here, and then just pretty much just max HP, right? And then a little bit of 1 point in special defense. Doesn't really matter here with this last point, but again, the goal of Torkoal: come into Trick Room, click the Eruption button, and that's it. Win games. All right, it's very, very straightforward. We'll keep it Terrifier for a little bit more extra damage that you're gonna need in certain games, right? Iron Hands. So Here with Wild Charge is still pretty good. Of course, that's your main coverage move, your main stab move, I should say, along with Drain Punch. And then your last slot over here, I still think you want Fake Out. So in certain games, you could even just lead Iron Hands, King Gambit, click Fake Out, and then set up your Swords Dance, right? It's also still pretty good. Now, just be aware of, again, with your Indeedee on the field, you don't want to click Fake Out with Psychic Terrain. Sometimes newer players make that mistake, so just be aware of that. Same thing with like your priority move here with Sucker Punch. Just be aware of the Psychic Terrain. But yeah, I digress. In terms of a spread here, we don't need to go like Brave or anything like that. I still think you want Adamant, and I still think you want a little bit of speed, just to like outspeed the Mirror. In certain matchups, I think it's still important. But other than that, you can pretty much just add a little bit of bulk here, about 76 investment, 239. This will optimize some sand chip damage from the Tyrannotars that are still running around. Second bump here in the attack, 198 is pretty good. And then I still want like max special defense with 1 point in defense. So this is going to do relatively well against, Hattery. Flutter main and Chi-Yu matchups. You just have to be aware of that. Drain Punch, of course, the Chi-Yu, and then Heavy Slam, the Flutter main, and just be able to resist one type of attack, right? So that's always really nice. King Gambit here, the secret MVP because of the Swords Dance shenanigans that you can run with it. But from here, I like to just do max HP. A little bit of 1 point in speed is all you really need. You can go a little bit more. You can go like either this much or even like 100 investment, just to really outspeed the Mirror. But the idea here is, you don't want to speed tie your Iron Hands because, they're the same speed tier. So, 71 versus 73. Just make sure you understand the speed interaction. So you don't speed tie your own Pokemon for that matter, right? But let's go to the benchmark here. Let's go right here, 196 investment. And that'll get you to 198 attack. You see how you skip 2 points in the attack here. So this is the third EV bump, as we say. And then from there, just 1 point in defense. You're already super bulky in that regard. You don't really need it. 52 special defense. That's really all that you have left over. And this is a very, very basic King Gambit spread. Now, Brute Bonded here, I wasn't really calcing for anything. The only thing I really wanted to do is just go Adamant here with a little bit of speed, just about 20 investment. And again, 78, 73, 71. Again, I'm not speed tying my own Mons, so just a little bit. And I still want to go like max HP here, 252, just be like super bulky, right? Because that's Brute Bonded's job. And then go to the benchmark here, 180 is what we need. See how you go from 185 to 187, so 180 is pretty good. And then just these 56, this is just like leftover. I wasn't really calcing anything. I just wanted to keep things simple and just split it up in the defenses and special defenses, right? 123, that's pretty good as far as a bulky physical attacker is concerned. In terms of like a terrestrialized type, I think you can go Terrifier. You don't want to get burned. So for that matter, I think that's okay. Same thing here with the Iron Hands. I feel like, again, you can go Terra Grass because Amoonguss is a thing. So you don't want to get, spored. And this will also do well into the other grass types running around. Not grass types, the ground types. Like you can resist their earthquake damage and still live. But the other option is, again, Terrifier for, not only not getting burned, but resisting the Flutter main damage. You have to pick and choose, right? It's a personal preference thing. There's no right or wrong answer between Terra Grass and Terrifier. But for me, I'm going to go with Terra Grass here. Okay, for the reason that I just said. Okay, Amoonguss and ground resist is important. And then here, like we already did the Brute Bonding, right? The King Gambit here, I keep it as Terra Dark, a little bit more extra damage, and you can remove the steel typing, so this way you don't take super effective damage from ground types. So for that matter, I think that's also important. And here I just kept that as Terrifier. You're already a grass type, right? So you're not afraid of Amoonguss. So just don't get burned. So Terrifier is pretty ideal. Okay. So this is as basic as it gets in terms of the. Oh, I want to do like Terrifier here as well, right? I'm still afraid of, the other thing. Yeah, Terrifier is still pretty good here. But from here, I think this is what we want. Yeah. So. Now what we're going to do is we'll upload this pace again and we'll put this in the video description. And again, if this is something you're interested in, right, in terms of team building, we've done a lot of it over these last few months. We've been able to get people some regional teams. They've been able to get some CP out of it. So that's always really good. And again, if this is something that you're interested in, if you want something for your own tournament, your own locals coming up, or maybe some rank ladder play, or you're trying to prepare for the last few regionals or any I see coming up, sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 is the sub that you want. So if you take a look at the video description or the comment section, there is the tier 3 option available. And then from there, we can sign up with we can organize a Discord call. And then, we just get you that team that you need. We create the EV spreads like this, as you see. And then from there, I give you some feedback. You can show me some of your games. I give you additional feedback based on how to play certain matchups. Again, all that fun stuff. It's all done with the tier 3 sub to the channel. So make sure you sign up and just, let me know when you do. All right. But yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. Let me know what you think of Hard Trick Room. Is it something that you think can still get the job done in regulationC? I think it can. It just requires a little bit more positional play and certain team makeup you're going to need for certain matchups. But I feel like this is a good starting point for you. You have redirection support. You have your sweepers. All right, and from here, you can just make some adjustments, maybe take out the brute bonnet and just put something else in there. But I wanted to try it, so I think it can do relatively well here. But yeah, we'll be back with another video in the next one, guys. Peace out, and have a good night.